So in today's live, I'm going to be doing another herbal hair oil. I'm going to be using some of the herbs that I have in my apothecary for this oil. So I'm just going to share some of those herbs that I'm going to be using, the oil I'll be using, and then I'm also going to be incorporating my Percocet powder in this hair oil. So I'm definitely excited for adding this ingredient. So what I've got here are all of my herbs. So I've got my burdock root, I've got some dried mint, I've got my organic licorice root, I've got my organic marjoram leaf, I've got my sage, I've got some organic nettle leaf. I'm also going to be using some organic whole rosemary. I'm going to be using some fenugreek leaves. As I stated in the beginning, I'm going to be using my Percocet powder. And then I'm also going to be using some Juantia pepper or grains of Salem for this oil. And I've got my water boiling already, so I've got that going. The oil that I'm going to be using today is going to be organic, unrefined virgin coconut oil. So this is the one I'll be using. I've got my mixing utensils, and then I've got my bowl here that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of my dry ingredients into the bowl here. And get started. So I'm going to use a measuring spoon to scoop all of the herbs out. As I did in my previous video when I did these hair oils with various herbs, I tried to do a little bit of measuring. However, I usually just eyeball it to however much I would like to use. So I'm going to go ahead and use my, it says here this is 1 cup. I'm not sure if that is accurate. However, I'm going to go ahead and add in my roots first. So I'm going to add some licorice root. So I will go ahead and scoop 1. This looks more like a tablespoon. So I'm just going to do 3 scoops of licorice root. Then I'm going to get my burdock root. I'm going to use the same amount, 3 scoops, just so that I can make a potent hair oil for this recipe. And I'm going to go ahead and add my powdered herbs that are a little more fine. So I'm going to add my marjoram, leaf, I'm going to add my peppermint, and I like to have kind of a stimulating, kind of warm herb in this hair oil, so the peppermint is definitely going to provide some stimulation for my scalp. I'm going to add some nettle leaf. I'm going to go ahead and add my fenugreek leaves. I had stated in my previous herbal hair oil video that I've been doing more using of the fenugreek leaves. I was using the fenugreek seeds for a lot of my hair care recipes, and I am now using more of the leaves just to see if there's any difference in the amount of nutrition that comes from the fenugreek. So that's going to be that one. So you can see all the herbs are in here. Then I'm going to add my rosemary. Go ahead and add that. Alright, so I've got my rosemary. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in my sage. This is really potent, so I'm just going to grab a few sprigs. It smells really good. I'm going to add that in. And I'm not sure, I think this one is white sage. Not sure if you can tell. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Okay. Hello to the viewers who have joined. Yes, I'm making a herbal hair oil in this video. I've got my Percocet powder, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that in. It smells really good, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the Percocet powder. Very excited to have found a powder for this one. See, it's very fine. So there's that Percocet powder. And then I'm going to add my Huentia pepper. And I would like to do at least a handful of these just to get the most nutrients out. I'm going to add those in, maybe a couple more. As I stated before, I want this to be a pretty potent oil, so I'm going to add a decent amount of herbs. So these are all the herbs in the bowl. And I'm just going to give it a quick mix, make sure everything is combined together. And I wanted to incorporate a lot of African herbs. So I got my grains of psyllium and Percocet powder for this one that I really want to incorporate more into my hair care regimen. I'm not going to add any jebe powder into this one this time. However, this is what is in this one. Okay, so I've now got my coconut oil I'm going to add in. And I'm just going to use a pouring cup just so that it doesn't make a mess. And the coconut oil is already melted, so I don't have to worry about it being in a solid form. So I'm going to pour that in here. This is coconut oil, so I'm going to be infusing these herbs for a hair care oil that I'm going to double boil. So this is my oil of choice. So I'm just going to pour the coconut oil over all of the herbs. Then I'm going to use the double boiler method to infuse the herbs into the oil. So I've got that, and I'm just going to mix all of the herbs together with the oil. Add a little bit more oil. And I have plenty of hair oils that I make here on my channel for anyone who's watching. So I have a lot of different recipes. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my boiling water, and I'm going to get this double boiled. So I'll bring the pot over and kind of share that process. So I just got my pot of water here, and I'm just going to set it down. And then just place the bowl over the pot, and I will allow this to steep for a couple of hours. I usually, in my last video that I did, will alternate once the water starts to cool off. When I have it off of the eye, just kind of take it back to the eye, let it boil and infuse on low for about an hour, hour and a half. And then I will sift it. I usually use like a stocking cap to strain the herbs from the oil, and then put it into an amber jar like this one with a dropper, and it'll be pretty much ready to use. So I will have some clips on my channel of that sifting process, so stay tuned for that. Thank you, I appreciate that. So stay tuned for that process once this has steeped for an hour, and I will share the final product here on my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.